This is the plaintiff, Ruth Bolden. She says she moved into an apartment the defendants were renting, and things quickly went from bad to worse. The place was in deplorable condition. She fell through the rotted staircase. Her neighbor was nasty, and she cut ties and moved out. Now the defendants refuse to return her security in full, and she's suing them here and now for the $2,853.08 they owe her. These are the defendants, Donna and Stephen Howell. Donna says the plaintiff was a nuisance tenant from the day she moved in. They had constant noise complaints from the neighbors. Her cat scratched up the window screens, and she couldn't pay the rent on time. Bottom line, the woman is lucky they refunded any of her security. But now that she's suing them here today, it's war. They're accused of letting a lady down. The defendants have filed a countersuit for $2,584.89 for damages, unpaid rent, and security returned.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff says the apartment she rented from the defendant was so gnarly she fell through the staircase. Can't get her security back. But the defendant says the plaintiff is a big fat nuisance with a horrible cat. It's the case of Stairway to Hell.
You're welcome.
Okay, Ruth Bolden?
Yes.
You are suing Donna Howe and Stephen Howe for $2,853.08, double the security deposit, because according to you, they have wrongfully withheld it and exceeded the statutory time limit to return it. You have a counterclaim against her for $2,584.89 for rent. You want your security deposit. You did pay her back to you because you've had a change of heart, and additional damages that you say she did to the apartment. Let's start with you. Tell me what's going on. You lived there for how long?
11 months.
Okay. And how did those 11 months go?
They were deplorable right from the beginning. The first weekend that I was there, I started to receive complaints from Donna stating that the tenant downstairs said there was too much noise in the apartment.
Okay.
At the time, I had not had all of my furniture in there. The only thing I had in the apartment that would cause an audible nuisance was a television.
Okay.
So I turned the television down. There were still complaints. I would turn the television off. There were still complaints. Complaints were constant.
From the tenant downstairs?
From the tenant downstairs.
Okay.
Finally, the evening of my baby shower, which was October the 13th, we had all come into the home. Everyone's tired. I'm beyond pregnant. I'm just totally tired, ready for the day to be over. I was in the house no more than 7 minutes. My phone goes off. It's a text from Donna. Control the volume of the noise in your apartment.
I know you lived there 11 months and there's a lot of problems and there's a lot of hostility. Then you move out. You decide you're moving out.
Correct.
You're moving out a month early.
That's correct.
And you're moving out a month early. I take it because of all the problems and you found a better place or whatever.
That's correct.
All right. Now, when you break your lease, according to you have their permission to break it?
That is correct. I have that on text message.
Okay. Let me see the text message. Sure. Because one of the things they're suing for is rent for July.
Correct.
Now, I kind of want to go to you folks at this point. Did you agree with her that she could move out a month early?
She called us. I spoke to her on the 12th. She texted me and said, I need to speak with you, RE, the lease. So I called her. At that point, she said, I do not have the money to pay you for July. And I said to her, well, I don't know, please be aware that there's late fees. So think about what you need to do and, you do owe July's rent. She texted me back later on that evening, about an hour later, and said, I would be willing to move out early if that would work for you guys. I explained to her, Steve and I need to talk about that overnight. We, at that point, had a discussion and said, let's let her go. It's been a nightmare.
Okay. So you send her a text saying, we have no problem with you breaking the lease and moving out at the end of June. This way there's no confusion with anything being late for rent. I guess you meant rent.
Rent, yeah.
Okay. So now you're moving out, and you move out on June 30th. There's no question about the move out.
No question.
Right.
She moved out June 30th.
The question is, when do you notify them about your forwarding address?
July 7th.
Is that accurate?
That sounds about right.
All right. So then time passes, and you finally get a written list from them of the damages they are claiming. And let's talk about the timing of that. But first, I want to kind of hear about the damages. What was the problem?
The place was filthy. We walked in there the day after, and throughout this whole thing, I had been in and out of the apartment. I had talked to her multiple times about the cat. We had just put in brand new windows in December. Talked to her multiple times about the cat scratching at the window screens. There was cat fur everywhere. She had a black cat that she allowed to climb on the countertops, on the windowsills, everywhere. She asked if she could paint the smaller bedroom for the baby. We said, okay, paint it, but paint it nice, one color, keep it simple. In addition to, she went farther than what we allowed her to do. We told her she could do one color.
Do you have a lease with her?
Yes.
Does the lease say that any permission to paint has to be in writing?
Yes.
And did you require the permission in writing, or did you verbally tell her, go ahead and paint
We had a verbal agreement, okay,
these things
for
are
one
in place.
color.
The reason why lawyers write them in there is to protect you.
I
Maybe
understand
throw them out
that.
the window.
However, in the lease, it does say before she moves out, and we did go through, we sat there that day.
She needs to bring it back
to where it was.
But she didn't repaint anything.
She
painted more than the baby's room.
She painted the baby's room, but she painted it 2 different colors. It was on the bottom, it was a light green, and on the top it was a blue.
Simple to you is not simple to someone else. That's very vague.
Well, she used chalkboard paint.
Do you have pictures?
I have a lot of pictures. They set them up
Show
on
me
the
the pictures.
on the laptop. Do you want the hard copies or on the laptop? I don't know how to do it.
I think I want both, but I want to see them here
Okay.
first of all on the big screen because
All right, well,
I
let's see.
can see them better.
All right,
Okay,
that's,
so that's
the baby's room with the chalkboard paint. She was there by herself with a newborn baby. She broke every mini blind in that house. That's one there, the right-hand side, okay, where it's broken there. Every single one of them. This was her bedroom rug.
Okay.
And this is the Stanley steamer or Sears steamer cleaning it. Half of it was coming clean, and you could just see the difference in there. This is 11 months.
Okay.
11 months. All that black on there is cat fur.
Okay.
Okay. He actually had to do the rugs
Did you ever
twice.
vacuum?
Of course, Your Honor.
I don't think she owned a vacuum.
Okay, go on.
This is the window in the kitchen with where the cat was scratching at the window. These windows were put in December.
Okay.
This was the stove. This was the front of the stove. These are, I don't know if you can see them from there, holes in the screen from the cat. Okay. That's the radiator in the kitchen. That's when she painted the bedroom, she somehow managed to get the blue paint all over the kitchen cabinet. Okay. That's the scratches from in the living room from the cat on the doorway. That's the bathroom.
Bathroom floor.
The bathroom floor. That's the bathroom tub with the pictures of the grout. The grout was just disgusting. This is the refrigerator door. We don't know what she did to the refrigerator door, if she scrubbed it with something or just never cleaned it. But the whole front of the stainless steel was completely scratched up.
I thought that was the idea behind stainless steel. It didn't stain.
Apparently it did.
I got it. I got the picture here. Hand me the hard copy of the photos.
Okay, hold that.
And one of your concerns, however, and the reason why you're suing for double is because according to you, they missed the deadline on notifying you. So talk to me about that.
That is correct. On July the 19th, I sent Donna a text asking her, because at this point she had stopped answering her phone. I sent her a text to ask
July
her.
the 19th, you moved out?
June the 30th.
June 30th. Okay.
July the 19th, I asked her when I should expect my security deposit. She responded in the text saying that we're wrapping things up. We will have this to you by the end of the month. That would have been fine because that would have been within the 30-day period of her needing to get it back to me. She did not do that. I actually have photographs of the postmarked envelope where she sent the information out on August 1. I received it on August 2. That's outside of the 30-day
That's
period that she
incorrect.
has.
Okay.
And I have that.
Show me what you've got.
This is a receipt that I mailed it on July 31st. And this is a receipt from the post office saying that she picked it up on August 1st at, I think it's 12 o'clock.
You have 30 days after the tenancy's over, and the tenancy was over.
30 days, the lease says 30 days after she leaves the property.
I don't care what your lease says. I care what the law says. Okay. Let's get to you and these pictures, which have to be embarrassing. I mean, I don't know, kind of.
They could be if they were accurate. I'd like
What
to
do you think? They went around damaging all of their.
I'm almost sure of it.
Really? Do you have pictures of how you left the place?
Yes, ma'am.
Which does more damage, dogs or cats?
Cats.
Oh, you told me a minute ago, dogs.
That's right.
Why?
Yeah, it is. It is the urine.
Cat urine.
Yeah.
Cat urine. What do you think?
Dogs, because they shed and they mark their territory. And
Who's going to be the tiebreaker?
I would say dogs, just because they're crazy. They're always jumping all over the place.
Cats just sit there and pee. Got it. Going inside the courtroom.
There is video on the cellular phone.
On this? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, but this is a good idea to document it. But you're documenting exactly what her pictures show, which is that it's kind of dirty and that the blinds are broken and you're going really, really fast. So And of course, you're going like this, and they're zooming in on all the paint splatter, which you're going too fast to catch. I mean, it is what it is. Let's see what you are claiming. According to you, your counterclaim is that, so you're suing for the rest of your security deposit plus the penalty of double the security deposit for failure to do it in a timely fashion.
Correct.
All right, you're suing for the rent, but I'm not going to find in your favor in that. I can tell you that right now because of the text that I see where you agreed to let her move out early. Okay, you want the money that you gave her for the security deposit returned because you're angry that she sued you. Okay, you want the money for the refrigerator door that you had never pinned on her at the time that you're writing a partial payment back, and you didn't list ever, not in any written form.
You're right, there was,
and you want the kitchen cabinets, $223.34 for what?
The paint.
Did you pay a housekeeper $200 to clean?
Yes.
Do you have the receipt for that?
Yes.
Okay, so you're not going to quibble with me on this, are you? That there are items you did not deduct for that you now wish to deduct for?
Yes, we ran out of time. Within the 30 days, we ran out of time to get everything done. We just
days.
couldn't get it done.
Oh, it's 30 days. You don't have to get it fixed. You have to claim it. And now that doesn't mean that, woo, case over, and you get to take double the security deposit home with you today. Because you still have a right to deduct, or to have me deduct from your recovery actual damages, whether they put it in the letter or not. What happens is mathematically, I start from the double figure and then start deducting what I find to be appropriate. So let me tell you guys what I find to be appropriate after reviewing all of the pictures and all of the receipts. I find the $200 for the professional cleaning and sanitizing of the unit to be appropriate. I find the $222.47 for deep cleaning the carpet of the pet fur and dander to be appropriate. I find what you're asking for painting the bedroom back into the condition that it was supposed to be appropriate. I find that what you're asking for the blinds to be appropriate. Okay, and that's the amount that you had originally deducted. Those are the things that you had originally deducted. So now let's talk about the things that you're asking for here today. Okay. I find the rent for reasons we've already discussed. You let her out of the lease, and I'm not going to pretend that didn't happen. The security deposit returned. Well, I'm doing the math now, so that doesn't work. The refrigerator door is a bit of a problem for me because I just don't understand how that refrigerator door oxidates. So I don't have the proof of that. So I'm not going to allow that to be deducted. Yep. The kitchen cabinets, to get the paint off of it, I'm going to allow that, and the window screens, I'm going to allow that. What was the amount of the security deposit that you had on file?
$2,000.
$2,000, everybody agrees?
Correct.
Okay. And what was the amount that you've already returned to her?
$613.46, I believe it was.
That is correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So here's what I did. I doubled the security as the law requires me to because you failed to meet the deadline. Then I deducted everything I think is appropriate, which I've gone over that some things are, some things aren't. Then I've also deducted what you already paid her. And that results in a net judgment in favor of the plaintiff in this case in the amount of $1,601.49. That's my judgment. Let me just say something because it's kind of bothering me. You are not the people that this statute's intended to punish. The statute was created because there are landlords out there who never get back to the tenant and just keep the money and figure that they'll exhaust the tenant. So to stop that from happening, they have to have a bright line rule and cut it on a certain day. You have to be on time or that's the penalty for you. Okay? All right. Good luck, folks.
Thanks, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Let's talk to the defendants coming out here into the hallway after this case. What have you learned from this?
Screen our tenants a little more carefully.
You learned some more about the law.
Yep, learn to make sure that deposit's back to her on time and try to get contractors out there a little bit quicker.
How about itemizing that letter and getting it
we did.
to her before 30 days?
She got the letter in 31 days.
Under 30 would be...
I understand that.
According to the law.
I understand.
So how long will it take you next time you're in this position?
Under 30 days.
Yeah, okay. All right, right around the corner this way. All right, come on out here. So the judge tells you that you're still responsible for damages nonetheless.
Yes.
What's your reaction to this outcome?
Well, I just like to say I thank the judge for her judgment. She was fair, and I probably should have cleaned up a little better.
Was it embarrassing to you to see those photographs in court of the place in such bad condition?
Not at all, because like I said, I have photographs showing the opposite. So.
All right, over to Harvey then.
If you're a landlord or tenant, take pictures when the tenant moves in, take pictures when the tenant moves out.